Today I'll be performing the physical and chemical properties and changes lab. So we'll start by boiling the deionized water. So I've just poured approximately 250 milliliters of the deionized water, and now we'll go boil it. So here I have my thermometer and my 250 milliliters of deionized water, and I'll just pour it into this pot. And begin heating it, and I'll keep recording once it's boiling and then record the temperature. So the water has started to boil, and I'll wait to take my measurement of the thermometer once I've seen that it's not moving anymore, and I'll come back with that measurement. So the thermometer is just about stopped moving, and I'm reading a temperature of just about 99 degrees Celsius. So I'll record that as the boiling point that I found. And once it's fully boiled, I'll record any other observations I have. So these are just a few observations which I recorded. And I'll wait for the water to completely boil and then move on to my next procedure. Okay, so I've obtained some ground beef and recorded a few observations about it. And I have a hot skillet here, and we're going to cook the ground beef until it's brown and observe some of the changes that occur. So once it's in the pan and it's cooking, I'll keep recording. Okay, so now the beef is in the pan, and once it's turned completely brown, I will record my observations about it. And I just finished fully cooking the ground beef, and I recorded some observations. It changed colors, it has a much stronger odor, and the texture has changed as well. It's much more firm. So here are my two observations, and I'll move on to the next procedure. So first, I'll measure 10 milliliters of vinegar in the graduated cylinder. So this is approximately 10 milliliters, and I'll pour it into this clean beaker. And I'll measure, I thought I'd just measure a teaspoon of baking soda, or maybe a bit less, to cover the bottom and then observe the reaction. So once I have that teaspoon, I'll continue recording. Okay, so I have a bit less than a teaspoon, and I'm going to pour it into the vinegar and then observe the reaction and write down my observations. So. Okay, and I'll write down my observations. I finished recording some of my observations, that it was bubbling. The liquid originally had a gray cloudiness, but I think that was because there was some kind of white precipitate at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but it could be the remaining baking soda. You can see it better from there. But yeah, these are my observations, and now I will pour it down the drain and continue to my next experiment. Okay, so now I'll be working with bleach, so I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, gloves, and closed shoes, and I'll do it outside, and this will be for the next experiment. So I'll first pour 20 milliliters of this bleach into the graduated cylinder and then into my beaker, and record observations about the bleach. So I just finished measuring out about 20 milliliters, and now I'll pour it into my beaker. and I'll record some observations I have about the bleach. Okay, so I've made some observations about the bleach. And I have it right here, and this is my Epsom salt. So I'll measure about a teaspoon like I did with the baking soda and record my observations of the Epsom salt, and then see what happens with the reaction. Or more just observe what happens when they're mixed together. Okay, so here I have some Epsom salt, and once I pour it in, we'll see the reaction that occurs, or what happens. So, I'm not sure if you can see, but the Epsom salt is in there. And I'll give it some time and then record my observations. Okay, so I just finished recording some observations about the Epsom salt and bleach. And now I'm going to move on to the sparklers. So here I have a sparkler and a match, and I'm going to light the sparkler and see what reaction takes place. So there's light and heat being produced, and a sound, and there's also a smell of burning. And there's obviously like the sparkles coming off of it. So I'll record my observations and show those to the camera once they're recorded. So here are the observations I made about the sparkler, and we'll continue on to the laundry detergent. So here I have laundry detergent, and this is where I'll be getting the water from. So once I get the laundry detergent to my hand and pour some water on it, I'll start to record my observations. So here I have the detergent in my hand and some water slowly pouring, and I'll record what happens when I put my hand over here. Wow. I felt some heat. I'm not sure if I was just imagining it, but I'm going to try it one more time. So I'd say the water is room temperature, and then once I put a bit over my hand, yeah, I can definitely feel heat. Wow. Okay. So I feel heat, changes colors a bit, seems to dissolve into the water. So yeah, I'll write those observations down. So here are my observations, and that's the end of the experiment. So thank you. Now I'll pour the Kool-Aid into the water and observe what happens. I didn't see this in the procedures, but I'm just guessing you just add it to the water and observe what happens. So the water changes colors, and the Kool-Aid seems to dissolve into the water. So yeah.